Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Psalm 23:4, New King James Version. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome my son, Logan. He's going by Wesley these days, trying something a little different. He and I have been talking a lot about what's been going on, and we just thought we'd share our thoughts with you guys and give you a chance to digest it and even respond here. This is just what we've been seeing from our perspective. But I want to read that verse again in a more modern language translation. So this is from the New Living Translation. Even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid. You are close beside me. Your rod and staff protect and comfort me. That's again Psalms 23:4 from the New Living Translation. So, in case you've been living under a rock and don't know anything that's going on, we're right now dealing with the self-quarantining and social distancing situations and the spread of the coronavirus, the COVID-19 virus, that's got everybody, at least everybody in the media, flipping out and losing their minds over. And so we just wanted to talk about the impact we're seeing and the impact on different age groups as relates to us and as it seems should and are relating to others. Have you been talking to friends and stuff about the way that it's affecting them or how it's affecting you with the schools and stuff?
Well, mostly what the kids in school are talking about is that a lot of them agree with most of the media, but a lot of them also feel like it's unnecessary, all the hysteria and the quarantine and everything like that. But a lot of them are also just glad to be out of school for 3 months. So,
yeah, which ours hasn't gone to a full-on shutdown for the rest of the year, but who knows? It could be coming. It seems like the general public is kind of in the same that I'm seeing. I guess I'm calling the general public the people on my Facebook feed, so I guess that is still a really small segment. But most people seem to be on the same wavelength here. They're seeing the hysteria, and I think that's what's scaring people more than the actual virus itself. The virus is not nothing, so I'm gonna get to that. But right now, it seems to me that most people are seeing how we're reacting to it, and not very happy about that. But yet, there's still enough people reacting to it that we do still have a hysteria kind of a situation going on, which may be fading some, but it's still. So I mean, the toilet paper shelves are still empty. So let's stop and look at the virus, the numbers that I keep seeing for the virus, and really what I've seen the most succinct way I've seen it put together is roughly 85% of the cases that are happening worldwide are mild. It is, for most people, the equivalent to a bad cold and treatable with over-the-counter medications and doesn't require hospital visits and things like that. I read something that said that unless you have a fever of 102 or greater for an extended period of time that fever reducers won't break, then you shouldn't go bother the emergency room with it. Now, I'm not giving you medical advice here. Understand? I mean, if you feel like you need to go or you have different information, then get on that. But that's what I saw from some of the experts that are posting online or shared from experts on Facebook, things like that. But that's 85%. And then another what was it, 10 to 13%, something like that, is a medium to severe case, which may include needing to seek medical attention. And then, the last 2 to 5% are cases that are potentially fatal and have been fatal. I mean, this thing's got a 98% survival rate. And yeah, there's big numbers of people that are dying, but when you compare it to the number of surviving, the survivability rate is really through the roof, and not worth all the panic that's been going on. I don't know if you got anything to add there.
Yeah, it's not that bad of a disease, and some people will die from it, which is awful. But
yeah, every life is important.
Exactly, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't worry about it at all, but all the hysteria and stuff like this is definitely not necessary.
It's just being overblown, I think. When you look at the deaths that have happened, you're really sorry. I'm always multitasking, so I'm going to try and not do that anymore. But when you look at the deaths that have happened, the majority of them, if not all of them, are among a very specific group of people, and that's the high-risk individuals. And, those people do maybe need to consider self-quarantining and staying and distancing from people and stuff like that. People who are of advanced age, to try and say it in a little more soft manner. But, the older you are, the more susceptible you are to illness. People who have other factors, asthma and reduced what's my word?
I had it, and then you tried to say it.
Immune disorders.
Immune system.
These people who have high risk factors, yes, they need to be very aware of what's going on and to be careful of it. But these same people need to be aware of all the situations that are going on. When the flu season shows up, they've got to take extra precautions there. Really, this isn't presenting that different from any illness that tends to go around in cycles. The same people who have to be worried about the other illnesses need to worry about this one. We need to, as those who are not necessarily at high risk, we need to recognize that those that are at high risk do need us to also take precautions for their benefit. We need to be washing our hands. This is not a new thing, people. Wash your hands. If you go to the bathroom, wash them. Don't put those in your mouth before you wash them. If you're touching stuff, if you're taking out the trash, things like that. I mean, this is stuff I learned in kindergarten 100 years ago, right? I mean, it's not a new thing.
And even without big diseases going around, it is recommended that you wash at least twice an hour.
Really?
Just to prevent. Yes.
I hadn't heard that number, but twice an hour.
That's what I heard.
That makes sense. That's twice an hour if you're not doing stuff. If you're, like I said, handling trash or raw chicken, immediately. But I mean, it seems like common sense, right? You wash your hands at least a few times a day, right? I mean, maybe I'm a little more alert to it because I work in food service and stuff, but it just seems to me like, if you haven't washed your hands before and this has helped you to become aware of that, awesome, great, wash your hands, but don't stop once this is blown over. Keep washing your hands, please, for all of our sakes. So the real risk, I think, here, and again, like I said, this is a virus that's going around. It is an illness, and it is possible that it is ending some lives. So it is a real risk. The same as all illnesses are a real risk. But I think the biggest risk that we're seeing here is the reaction of the public, is the hysteria that's going around. I mean, there have already been reported cases of, Midland, Texas, Sam's Club. There was a stabbing which I actually heard today, and if I'm wrong, somebody let me know, because I didn't fact check this, but I found out from a source I trust today that the report is that the stabbing in the Sam's in Midland was because some good old boy saw some Asian people, and since it's the Chinese virus, he just decided he was going to get himself some revenge, I guess. I don't know, but people are fighting over the last package of toilet paper and the last bottle of water, and come on, this we shouldn't be hoarding this stuff in the first place, but it's not the end of the world. Some of this stuff can be replaced with other things. It may not be as convenient, but you got tap water, and I'm not going to go into gory details about possible replacements for toilet paper, but there are other things you can use. But yeah, I mean, it's just the media is playing on our fears, and when people get afraid, people do stupid things, and then we start to see violence on the rise and looting on the rise, and I guarantee the more areas are seeing forced quarantine and stuff like that, the more violence and theft you're going to see. We shouldn't be acting like that, people. I mean, none of us should. We should be community and working together. Particularly those of us in the Christian faith should be less worried about this. We shouldn't be flipping out about it. I mean, in Matthew chapter 10, verses 29 through 31, Jesus says to us, "What is the price of 2 sparrows? 1 copper coin. But not a single sparrow can fall to the ground without your Father knowing it. And the very hairs on your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are more valuable to God than a whole flock of sparrows." So we know that, we're going to be taken care of. We should trust that. Jesus told us that. We believe in God, right? So we should trust that. So who is it that we should... Those who are panicked are non-believers. Those who don't really truly trust in God. If you call yourself a Christian and you're panicked over all this, maybe the first thing you need to do is stock up on some prayer and recenter yourself with God, right? That's just me, but that's my thoughts on it.
Like it says in Philippians 4, 6, and 7, and yes, I'm reading because I can't quote it, but it says, "Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything and tell God what you need and thank Him for all that He's done. And then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus."
So I guess here's the question. What can we do? What can you and I do as Christian individuals to help to diffuse the hysteria? There's not a whole lot we can do to diffuse the virus. We can take precautions to try and keep from spreading it to others and take personal responsibility, yes. But what can we do to help diffuse the situation for the hysteria and all that?
I'm honestly not too sure what we can do to diffuse the hysteria. I'd say probably one thing, just be understanding of people's fear about it and not call them dumb or anything because they're afraid. But
fair point, yes. I think the first place that we got to look is at ourselves. Am I allowing myself to be affected by this hysteria? And I'll admit, I've since this thing really started ramping up at the beginning of March, I have been very anti-hysteria and pretty loud about it. Maybe too far to the other side publicly. No, I have been too far to the other side. I've tried to be moderate and not too accusatory and stuff like that. But I have said things to people that I shouldn't have. And I know others that have said things to people and really kind of overreacted to the other side, overcorrected. So you're right. We should be moderate and respectful at all times, even in a situation like this. So the first place we need to look is inside. I have been taken in by some of the rumors out there about things that might happen. And
So there's always a possibility that things might happen.
Always. And, most of the time, all the what ifs never happen. But you can spend so much time worrying about the what ifs and getting all flipped out about that. And all you're really doing is putting a whole lot of plans in place for stuff that's not going to happen in the first place. So yeah, I say that's step number one is look at yourself. How are you acting? Where are you at? If you're scared, if you're panicking, look to your Father above to help bring you that peace. The peace that he read about in Philippians. And then once you get yourself in a peaceful state, once you got control of your own self, then you can start looking at others and try to help in a productive way. Talk to them and say, look, this is, there's toilet paper factories. They're going to be making more. It's going to come back. It may be inconvenient for a little while, but they haven't shut them down or burned them to the ground. Unfortunately, there is going to be some death equated with this, but it's a very small percentage. And
then again, the flu and the common cold have higher kill rates in this, don't they?
These days it's hard to find the numbers, but at 2%, they've got to be pretty close to the same, if not more. I mean, there are other things out there that are just as bad. However, there's vaccine for the flu for those who take it and things like that, and there's gonna be for this too. But that's the kind of thing that we need to be sharing with people is, hey, I know it's a scary situation, but look at the flu. Flu kills so many people a year, unfortunately, but we're not as freaked out about that. I think the real scary thing about coronavirus is, one, it's been played up as this really ridiculous, we need to all be really scared of thing by the media, and two, it's new. This is a new strain of an old virus, but it is new. It is, brand new. It's, from my understanding, it is an animal strain of coronavirus that mutated and affected humans. So it's not that it's not treatable. It's just that it's very trial and error right now in trying to figure out how to treat it and trying to figure out a vaccine for it and things like that. So the doctors are catching up to what it is, and I think that's what scares people a lot is that, well, what if we're not doing this right? Or maybe we don't know, and maybe it kills me before they know how to they know how to treat it now. We have figured that out. There are still some, maybe serious cases that we don't. But and another thing that's going to happen is even without a vaccine, as people get this and recover from it and it's passed around, we're going to start building immunities to it as well. So as time goes on, it's going to be less and less lethal because more and more people are going to be, we're just not going to be affected. Those people who can walk through flu season, and lick every door handle they see and never get anything. I rarely get the flu myself, knock wood. But so there's going to be people like that to begin with. There's going to be people like that who are just immune to it. But then as we go along, more and more people are going to be. We're going to know more and more how to deal with it and how to handle it, and not feel like we need to run to the emergency room every time that we have a sniffle or a cough or something. But those are the kind of talks that we need to be having, not calling people names or jumping down people's throats. Unfortunately, there's a lot of restaurant and public meeting space closings, a lot of church closings right now, which I'm not saying is wrong. I don't know that it's really necessary, but if you want to, it's not wrong to go over the top about being responsible. It's just the attitude with which you do it. Makes sense? So that's the thing, is just check your attitude. Don't let the hysteria catch you and take you down the road with it. And then try to calm people down who are being affected by the hysteria. Know some research and know how to offer them hope. That's the biggest thing, is just be able to give somebody hope. I don't know if we've helped anybody today. You think we helped anybody?
Probably not.
Probably not. Either way, we just want to discuss it a little bit and get your brain going some more. And, feel free to email us, go on our Facebook page, whatever, and comment. Let us know what your thoughts are on it and what you're doing to protect yourself. We have started washing our hands. We've started being more conscious of washing our hands. I don't know that I wash them any more often because I wash them a lot anyway. But we're more conscious of what we're doing. We are sticking closer to the house more often. Of course, that's pretty easy for me because I'm a lazy turd. But I might have to edit that part. But yeah, just take the precautions. Just do it with the right mindset and help to calm other people down, because we're gonna survive past this as a community, as a world. We're gonna experience some loss, but all in all, we're gonna survive past this, and then we have to be able to live with each other when we do. And reacting in a hysterical way and panicking and killing each other in the grocery store is not going to help that happen. So let's think beyond this and let that kind of guide us too. That's all the thoughts I've got. You've listened to me ramble long enough. Any closing thoughts?
Not really on this. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to, like you said, visit the Facebook page or the website. If you have any ideas for any other podcasts you'd like to listen to, or even let us know if you'd like to see a part 2 on this. So,
I have any idea what I'd do for a part 2 on this. All right, guys. Y'all be blessed, and we will be back again soon and have another subject that we know nothing about to talk about. Have a good day.